Our next presenter is Lisa Loud, who's the co-founder and CEO of FLUIDEFI and number 87 on the Cointelegraph's movers and shakers in Web3 list. She is someone who started at Apple as a development manager, serving as a PayPal's head of US digital acquisitions before moving on to cryptocurrency exchange BitMax as the head of marketing in 2017. Chief Operating Officer of Switzerland-based cryptocurrency exchange Shapeshift, which I love that project. I think it's phenomenal. And she started her Fluid DeFi company with Louis Sirico in September of 2020. That's her second entrepreneurial venture after launching Avia Software Services in 2001. She's one of the most influential women in crypto today and was just a very active participant in the academy, has been our partner with Jim and myself at Consensus this year in getting as much, I would say, as out of that conference for the Academy in terms of investor and corporate introductions. And with that, Lisa Loud, you have the stage. Thank you for being in our first cohort. It's been great pleasure.
Thanks, Mariana. And my co-founder, Louis, is here with me. And it has been an amazing experience to be in the cohort. So I thank you for that experience. I'm going to try to play my slideshow and see if I can share it. It's not always easy, but let me do my best. So while I'm bringing that up, I just want to talk to you about how I ended up here. I worked at Apple in the early days with Steve Jobs, and I was so inspired by what Steve did to create a product that didn't exist yet. And I wanted to do that. Like, I had that idea way back then. I'm going to do that someday. And FLUIDEFI is that idea, that this is what we are doing. We're seeing the internet change, we're seeing finance change, and we're ushering in that next generation of finance. So Louis and I are very excited to share this with you today. So to start out with, our vision is big. We want to be DeFi tools provider for the world. We believe that just as Web3 is replacing Web2, just as the internet is now a new experience where everyone owns their own data and can manage that data, can manage their experience, the same thing is happening in finance, where everyone wants to manage their own finance and have control over it. They don't want to put it into a bank and have somebody else decide what to do with it. People want agency. People want control over their own data. And so the next evolution of finance is coming. We can't stop it. And it will be here. So it's just a question of how it comes about. So at FLUIDEFI, we believe that we can usher that new era of finance in more comfortably and more effectively by providing the tools that traders need to enter the space. So we've had some really exciting developments over the past few months. I'm going to be highlighting those. But really the vision is to be all data to the DeFi world. Today, most people are indeed overwhelmed by DeFi. There are 17,000 protocols. There are many, many liquidity pools that don't actually work. And how do you know which ones work and which ones don't work? There have been 134 hacks in the past, just in 2023, actually, already. So how do you navigate all of this? How do you find what protocols you want to be in? How do you decide how do you learn how to use those protocols? How do you make money in this space? Only 0.1% of the population today is actually using DeFi. That's a big problem. And the reason is you can't trust the data. The user experience is impossible to navigate. And people don't understand the risk ratings or how to actually report their taxes after they have been in DeFi. So at FLUIDEFI, we're solving these problems. We have really focused on solving these problems from the institutional level because institutions have the highest requirements. They have the highest level of need for compliance, for reportability, for transparency, and for algorithmic trading. Up until now, it has not been possible to do algorithmic trading with liquidity pools because of this self-agency and self-custody thing. But with FLUIDEFI, we have provided a way for people to build a strategy in DeFi, to backtest that strategy, and then to run that strategy 24/7, even when they're sleeping, to make fees. You can make like 10%, you can make 20%, you can make 400%. It depends on your risk appetite and your willingness to accept drawdowns. But all of this is packaged up in a platform that allows you to visually build that strategy, and then track that strategy, test that strategy on historical data, and you're guaranteed that all of the data that you're using is accurate because of our patent pending algorithms to ensure accuracy of our data. We also provide risk metrics and ratings on the liquidity pools, on the tokens. We provide Sharpe ratios. We've calculated 78 metrics and indicators, trading indicators for every single potential asset that you could invest in the AMM space. And then finally, what about the user experience? Because I know you're thinking, yeah, that's great, but I still can't figure it out. Most people are in that boat. How do we make DeFi easy? Well, we have decided that the best way to make DeFi easy is to create a ChatGPT text-based interface so that anyone can start from any level and have an assistant who will help them get to the next step. So you don't know how to open a wallet? Our AI assistant will guide you to open a wallet. You don't know how to move tokens into your wallet? The AI assistant can do that. But the AI assistant can also do research for you. It can tell you which pools are best to trade today, which ones have the highest volume. There's an endless amount of data and research and operations that you can get from this AI. So let's leave that for a moment, and we'll go through some of our traction. As Mariana said, we've been around for 3 years, and we are currently excited about our partnership with Google. We're working together to provide Web3 insights to the world. And I can tell you that people are really hungry for Ethereum data. But on top of that, they're hungry for more actionable insights. And we're very excited to be working with Google. We have an amazing partnership with them. And to be able to provide more insights to more people through the Google platform. So more news coming on that soon, but it is going very well, that partnership. We're also working with accounting companies like Ernst & Young and Deloitte because what Ernst & Young has told us is that they spend hours and hours trying to decode what their clients have done in DeFi. It's so difficult. They have to track it through Etherscan or other scanners and reconstruct the whole history of that portfolio and find out what the value of that portfolio was on any given date. Very difficult. So it's just a natural for FLUIDEFI because we have all that data. It's just a different way of formatting it. And we can, at a touch of a button, we can spit out a report that provides an auditor with something that they can use to report and finish their audit for their clients in seconds rather than in weeks. It's really that big a difference. We currently have 200 million in TVL managed on FLUIDEFI through our customers who are banks and hedge funds and traders. So this market, why now? It's a massive opportunity. And as I mentioned, it's coming. We know it's coming. If you take all the components of this, like I used Bloomberg Terminal, just who is using Bloomberg Terminal, how much are they paying for it today? And then just looking at the global assets under management, and then the big data market, if we just sell data through Google's platform directly, there's a huge amount of potential here. And I am happy to dive into the metrics of this with anybody, but overall, the market opportunity is in the hundreds of billions. Most of the companies, yes, the DeFi landscape is crowded. However, most of these companies that I'm listing here are serving the DeFi ecosystem today. What FLUIDEFI is doing is opening the gates to bring more people into that ecosystem. We're bringing in traditional investors, traditional hedge funds, high net worth individuals who want exposure to this asset class, and we're making it possible for them to dip a toe or dip a foot into the DeFi space, rather than having to learn all of these other very useful but inscrutable projects. We also have the GPT, as I mentioned, which is a huge advantage for people coming into the space for the first time. Being able to backtest your model and your strategy is a really strong competitive advantage. So what is our GPT doing? It is compatible with these larger LLMs like ChatGPT and Bard, so you can connect it onto those. You have all of that world knowledge. But then on top of that, we are training our GPT on specifically DeFi information. And we have the entire history of the BNB chain of PancakeSwap, all of the DeFi transactions on PancakeSwap, for example, as well as other AMMs, so that our AI will be uniquely trained on our proprietary data and will be able to answer questions about DeFi liquidity pools, things like what liquidity pool is yielding the highest right now with a low amount of risk or with just stable coins. The number of questions you can ask is astronomical, so I'm going to leave it at that to your imagination, but you can use it for research. You can also use it for trading. So if you want to say, I don't want to deal with the mechanics of how do I get my ETH into BNB chain, and then how do I split that into 2 different tokens and stake it in a liquidity pool. You don't have to do any of that. You say, hey, AI assistant, I would really like to enter this pool, and all I've got is like USDT. The AI will go and trade the USDT into the correct tokens, and then we'll stake it into the liquidity pool for you, saving you all of that hassle, making sure the gas fees are the lowest possible, all of this stuff that you don't have to learn anymore. Which, why does anybody need to know how DeFi protocols work? They want to know how to make money. That's what they want to know. And then we also have a visual strategy builder. So you can decide, okay, I want to go into Curve, drag and drop these different parts of it. I want to swap, and then I want to stake, and then I want to deposit. So you can run the strategy, and then you can back test that strategy, as I mentioned before. And just with the click of a button, you can see how it would have performed over any given period of time. And you can also see the risk return. So our business model is based on 3 different revenue streams. We have the SaaS trading products, which is what our hedge funds and banks are using for yield aggregation. We have financial reporting, which is what we're working with E&Y and Deloitte on. And then we have data streaming, which is what we're working with Google on. These 3 buckets form the basis of our revenue stream. It's all pretty much recurring. The SaaS one is the most traditionally subscription-based, but the financial reports are recurring, of course, because you have to do those every year. The data streaming also will be a subscription-based, but sort of like Infura. It works the same way Infura does, where you get a certain amount of data for your monthly subscription. All right. So my co-founder and I come from a storied background. I mentioned my background at Apple with Steve Jobs. My co-founder worked at the FBI, and they hired him probably because of his very good skills in shall we say, figuring out in ethical hacking, let's call it that. In ethical hacking, he can figure anything out. And he's also really good with big data, has worked for the Department of Defense, Department of Energy, IBM, all big data companies that need to have a lot of security. So in DeFi, you need to be very hack proof. And I am extremely happy to have a co-founder who's so versatile in making sure that we are secure. We also have a patent, an AI patent. You notice that our GPT was called Green GPT, and that is because we have come up with a method for training a model that uses a fraction of the energy of typical GPTs. Louis has a certificate in AI and also holds another AI patent, so he's very accomplished. So this is FLUIDEFI. This is what we're doing. We're very excited for the future of finance. And we would love to have you join us. We are raising right now $4 million on a safe note. And it's about 25% filled already. But what we'll use this for is to build out more AMMs to really support the development of DeFi in this ecosystem, and also to begin spreading the word. We haven't done any marketing or business development up to this point, and we really need to start that. So that's what we'll be doing, growing and scaling over the next year or so. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lisa. This is such a fascinating moment in time. We were in the middle of running the academy when the generative AI happened. And I think we had this discussion. We have a founders roundtable every Friday where the founders kind of help each other figure out ways to get to the next level. And we were talking about generative AI and the fact that we should somehow include it to help the ventures that we have get to the next level. And what you guys have done with generative AI in literally a couple of weeks is just amazing. How did you go about figuring this product roadmap?
Well, it's not exactly true that we did it in a couple of weeks, because we were already doing AI. We already had an AI model, and we were already working on our green patent. So it was a little bit of a pivot, but not much, because we already had a lot of that work done. And we graduated, just to let you know, we graduated from Next AI last year, which is a Montreal-based accelerator focused on AI. So we've been in the AI space for quite some time already, and that made it a lot easier to pivot to this text-based assistant. But it was just a light bulb moment, Mariana. It was like, I have been trying so hard to figure out, how do we help people in DeFi? Because when I talk to people, they're like, this is great, but I don't know how to use it. Can you guide me? Can you tutor me? Can you set up my strategy for me? Can you just manage my money? And I'm like, wait, there must be a way to scale this. And when I thought about the text-based AI doing it for people, it was a light bulb moment, because it makes so much sense and it fits with our mission. It solves that whole thing. It means we don't have to create a huge UI that we test and everything. We just give people an assistant that will do it all for them.
I have to tell you, that was a big light bulb moment, because DeFi just isn't that approachable for most people.
Exactly.
And it's using all that amazing technology and knowledge that you guys gained over the last several years to kind of create this environment. So that was just amazing accomplishment. I was talking to someone who's building a platform for ordinals and BRC20, and I told them about what you guys have built with generative AI, and they said the same thing. They said, that's a light bulb moment, because we can provide information about ordinals and BRC20 to people using generative AI. It's kind of like a window into Web3.
Right.
So this is really great.
William, you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick question. Really like the pitch. Thanks for presenting, Lisa. But you mentioned kind of a few different revenue streams for the business and a couple of different areas that you're pursuing. I just out of curiosity, where are you seeing like the most opportunity? Is it more on the analytics side, or is it more on the reporting side? Just from like a market demand perspective, I'd be curious
Honestly, the biggest demand is the data streaming. And I haven't made it the biggest here because I'm being conservative, and the fact is that there's probably a lot of people providing data, but I do know that our data has the highest quality that I've seen. And we've talked to a lot of other data providers in the space, and they're always impressed. They're always like, how are you doing that? So just based on what I've seen recently, data in Web3 is a huge demand right now. And if we can work with Google as we are to provide it through their platform, I see that as probably having the most potential for the future. However, these other revenue streams are very promising as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Very interesting.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Lisa, for not just, creating this amazing venture, but also for your participation in the Academy. And we're just really grateful that you were in this first cohort. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Mariana. It's been amazing.
It's been fun.